I'm sure you have a very busy life just like me, and I know you're probably wrapping up your year in your business. You're out there shopping, the holidays are coming, and I'm sure like me, you're getting all these different requests to make contributions to all kinds of really important causes. And today, Giving Tuesday, is a really unique opportunity for all of us to think about what could we do to help others. And they're all great causes out there, but there's one cause in particular that I found to be invaluable to make a contribution to, and that is actually providing food for people. You know, we live in a country that is the richest country in the world, and yet we live in a place where 42 million Americans don't know where they're going to get their next meal. 13 million of those are children. And to give you a perspective, 42 million people is twice the size of the population of the 5 biggest cities of the United States. If you took New York, LA, Chicago, Houston, Philadelphia, put them all together, that's still a little over 20 million. So to give you a perspective, that's how big the need is out there, and people just don't realize it. And the people that need it are not just homeless people. You know, I've partnered with Feeding America over the last few years to feed 100 million people last year, and we're going to do it again with your help this year. And the way we've been able to do it is to find people, individuals that are paying their rent, they're living in their home, they have children, they got to pay utilities, but between those elements and medicines, they literally don't know how to get their next meal. And Feeding America is the most powerful organization in the United States for really hunger relief in this area. And my passion for it, and the reason I'm reaching out to you, is today is a unique opportunity. You know, if you decide you'd like to make a contribution today of any amount, $10, $20, $100, up to $5 million, I'll match it today. And I got to tell you, in my own life, the reason I'm passionate about this, not because I'm just a great guy, it's that because when I was 11 years old, we had a Thanksgiving with no money and no food. And what changed my life, what changed the entire direction of my life, was the fact that one day I get this knock at the door on Thanksgiving. My parents are fighting and saying things you can't ever take back. And I open the door and there's this tall man standing there with this giant 2 bags of food, and on the ground beside him was this pot with an uncooked turkey in it. And he said, "Is your father here?" And I said, "Just one moment." And I went to go get my father, and that day changed my life, because my father had always convinced all of our family that strangers don't care about us. You know, it's a dog-eat-dog world. And my father didn't actually receive the gift very well. It's a long story, but you know, he felt like he failed his family. But for me, it was a turning point in my life, because I was focused on the fact there was food, you know, and that somebody, what I pulled from that event was not just we had this beautiful meal. What I pulled from it was this feeling that strangers cared, and strangers care about me, I need to care about strangers. It literally changed the direction of my life. And to this day, I don't know who did it. I started sharing about this 35 years ago. My mom thinks she knows who sent it to us. The woman was rather elderly that passed away, but you know, a simple gift like this, a simple addition of helping somebody on a day like this can literally change their perspective on life, not just provide them a meal. So I hope you'll join me with this. And I hope you'll do this not only for other people, I hope you do it for yourself. Because, you know, I recently, this last few years, I've been writing books on money and finance and investing, because so many people are stressed in this area of their life, and it's hard to, you know, figure out what you're going to do for your children, or how to be in a beautiful, happy state, or how to do well in your business or your career when you're trying to figure out how to pay the bills. And so one of the principles I learned, and one of the things that triggered me, is I was interviewing all these multi-billionaires, and I watched Congress cut food stamps. They now call it the SNAP program, but they cut it by almost $8 billion. It's the equivalent of every family in America that was getting help literally losing a week's worth of food every month for 12 months. And they're hoping other people are going to step in. So I decided to step in. I provided, in the first year, a year ago, 55 million meals, and then provided the matching funds to feed 100 million through Feeding America. I'm doing the same thing this year, and you can participate. But if you want to change your life, the one thing I've learned by interviewing all these individuals is Sir John Templeton, one of the greatest investors in the history of the world, the first billionaire investor, a man who started with nothing. He shared with something. He said, "Tony, I've never met anybody who tithed for a 5 or 10 year period of time who didn't experience extraordinary financial wealth. Somebody who didn't donate 8 or 10% of their income." Most people can't even imagine that thought. But what I can tell you is that if you don't have any money to donate and you still donate, your life will change. I always tell people, if you won't give a dime out of a dollar, you're not going to give 10 million out of 100 million in a trillion years. This is not going to happen. It starts where you are. Everybody says, "Well, when I'm doing better, that's when I'll start to donate." My own life changed when I was just 17 years old. My mom and dad had this big outing after we were fed and things went well. Things did not go well between my parents. And all of a sudden I found myself, my dad went back east and my mom decided I was on his side, so I was out on my own. And I went to work in a company, and I was working for this man named Jim Rohn, and I was promoting his events, and it was all commission. So your raise became effective when you were, and I wasn't very effective. And I can remember hitting this threshold where I was working, 12, 13, 14-hour days. And one night I was coming home from where I was in this place called Orange County, California. And I was driving on this freeway late at night. I mean, no cars, almost midnight. And I don't know if you've ever been that place where you just feel like you've given your all and there's no return, there's nothing left. And I was in my pity pot, feeling angry, quite frankly, and feeling sad and frustrated and saying, how can I work this hard and care this much and be in this horrible place where I'm not knowing where I'm going to get my next meal? And all of a sudden, I pulled over on the side of the road. It was on this 57 freeway. I remember like it was yesterday. And I used to keep these big handwritten journals. I used to write journals in. And the journal's on my Volkswagen next to me, on the seat next to me. So we're driving this Volkswagen VW Bug. And I pulled it over and I wrote on this one page, and I still have the journal to this day, this giant one phrase. And I just wrote, "The secret to living is giving." And then I started to cry like a little kid. I remember it like it was yesterday, because I realized that all of my pain was because I was so focused on what I wasn't getting. I wasn't focusing on what I was giving. And in any relationship, in an intimate relationship, if you're focused on what you're getting or not getting, the relationship's already over. Relationship's a place you go to give, and life is a place we go to give. Life is calling to us to give. And all I can tell you is over the next 6 months, it changed my perspective. It made me focus on what can I give, and I started to prosper a bit. And then I made some business mistakes, and I found myself broke again. And I finished the story by telling you this. This is the day that changed my life completely financially. I was completely broke. I had, probably $25, $26 to my name. And I was living in Venice, California, in this little tiny, 400 square foot bachelor apartment. And I was washing my dishes in my bathtub, and I was, eating off this little hot plate. And I thought to myself, I got to eat, but worse than that, what am I going to do? I don't have my rent. And I loaned, I think it was like $1,200 to a dear, dear friend of mine, and I kept calling him, and he wouldn't even return my calls. And so I was getting angry that when I needed, he wasn't there for me. But I was also pragmatic, and my pragmatic side said, okay, I got 26 bucks, I got to eat. I shouldn't drive my car and pay for parking, so I walked to this place in Marina del Rey, which wasn't far, maybe 3 miles away. And it was called El Chorrito. It's still there in Marina del Rey, and it's on the harbor where you can see, the boats going by and the yachts. Completely different life than I had. But they had this all-you-can-eat salad bar and Mexican food salad bar, burritos and things like that. And I thought, I'll go there and I'll load up for the winter. I'll just eat as much as I can. I don't remember how much it was. I think it was like $5.95, like $6 for all you could eat, if I remember right. And I went there and I just loaded up. I did a carb load like you can't even imagine, thinking I got to make this food last for a few days. And then, I just finishing up my meal, and all of a sudden the front door of the place opened, and this breathtakingly beautiful woman walked in. I couldn't help but notice. And then I waited to see who was with her, and all of a sudden the man who was with her was like, about 3 feet. And he was wearing this suit and tie and a little, vest. And I watched him hold the door open for his mom, and then he obviously came and pulled the chair out for her, and he was just such an incredible gentleman. I just remember it was like a movie, taking it all in. And I was just, I don't know what it was, I was just moved by this little boy's just total attentiveness and care and love and respect for his mom. And so I paid the bill, and, I don't know what I had left, 17, 18, 19 bucks. I put it in my pocket. And as I was starting to walk out, I saw this boy again, and I stopped, and I introduced myself. And I said, I'm Tony, what's your name? And I don't remember his name, honestly, it's been so many years. I think it was Charlie. And he goes, Charlie, let's say. And I said, Charlie, I've been watching you. I said, I saw the way you held the door for your lady here. I saw how you pulled out the chair for her. I said, taking her to lunch like that. I said, that's a classy thing to do. And he goes, well, she's actually my mom. I said, that's even better. He goes, well, I'm not literally taking her, to lunch right now, because I don't have a job. And I think he was like 8, 9, 10, 11 years old. I'm 10 or 11 years old at the time. And I said, yes, you are taking her to lunch. He looked at me, and I reached in my pocket, and I had no plan to do this. I just spontaneously took out all the money I had in the world, my $17, $18, $19, and I threw it there right down in front of him, including the change, right down in front of him, right, where his plate would be. And he looked up and he says, I can't take that. And I said, of course you can. He said, how come? I said, because I'm bigger than you are. And I didn't look at the woman. I didn't do it for that reason. And I just shook his hand, and then I walked out of this place. And I didn't walk out. I flew out of the place. You know, and I went looking for my car and forgot I didn't drive there. And I didn't walk home. I kind of skipped. I mean, I would probably look like an idiot going home because I was so euphoric. And the crazy thing is, I should have been freaking out. It's all the money I have in the world. I have no money to pay my rent, no money for food the next day, nothing. But it was the most free I'd ever felt in my life. There was no scarcity in my bones. And I'd lived where everything was always scarce. And the reason I really believe is, when you have nothing, the best thing to do is plant your seed corn. When it's like, you got to teach your brain that there's more than enough. And the way to do that is give when it's not easy to do. And so instead of thinking everybody else got all this money, let them give, that day I gave everything. And I not only had euphoria, but then I went home, and here's the best part of the experience. I went home and it's like, I still thought at some point you'd think my brain would kick in and go, what the hell are you going to do? It really didn't. And I went to sleep that night, and I figured I'll put together a plan. I'll work this out. I got up the next morning, and I got no money, no food, no anything. And the snail mail came in the old days when you received your normal mail. And sure enough, there's a letter that I opened up, and it's from the guy that I loaned the $1,200 to. And he wrote me a note, said, I've been avoiding you. I'm really, really sorry. I hope you'll forgive me. Here's the money I owe you and a little extra. And in those days, $1,200, $1,000, I could live off for a month. So I remember just reading it, and then I started bawling again, just uncontrollable crying. And I just thought to myself, why am I crying? Why is this going on this way? And I just remember vividly thinking, why did this happen? And I really believe in my heart and my soul, I believe that this happened because I operated I wasn't trying to do something. I wasn't doing it because people wanted me to. I wasn't doing it to look good. I did it because it was right. I trusted my gut spontaneously. I didn't think about me. And as a result, since I wasn't thinking about me, scarcity ended for me. And I also just chose to believe, I don't know if it's really true, that this was the reward for that. That if you'll give, whatever you'll give, if you'll just give from your heart and from your soul, that the rewards are always tenfold. You'll never have to worry. And I can tell you, I have 31 companies, we have 1,200 employees. I've been through the ups and downs. I've been near bankruptcy multiple times in businesses. But I can honestly tell you, I'd never return to that feeling of scarcity ever again, because I know it's not just about me. And I know that secret to living is giving. And I've lived that. And as a result, it's magnified all the joy that I could possibly have in this life. So if you think about the holidays and what to give and what to do, it's beautiful. I hope you'll take amazing care of your family and yourself. But there's something about doing something for more than yourself that makes us feel fully alive as human beings. So I hope on Giving Tuesday, you'll take me up on the offer. You'll decide to donate whatever you want to donate, $10, $100, $1,000, $10,000. I said up to $5 million, I'll match. Just click on the button right beside you there if you feel like it. Put something down, and let's give somebody some food security in the middle of such volatile, crazy times. Let's show them that strangers care, and let's celebrate our holidays when with our family, having our turkey and our good food, knowing that others in need are being taken care of. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. God bless you. Happy holidays.